What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you?
Good. So everybody, Steve and I are getting ready for our show. We were waiting to see if it was going to be a green light, and we got that yesterday. And we're brainstorming what we're going to do, and we thought, hey, we want you guys to be here too. So this is your behind-the-scenes look of us planning our, is it Memorial Day or Labor Day? I always mix that up.
Memorial Day.
Yes, Memorial Day show coming up at the end of this month, and we're so excited. It is a green light go. Steve's going to be here.
That's the plan.
So I believe officially the show's going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we're figuring out if we're going to VIP Saturday night or because of maybe the limitations of how many people we're going to have here, if we're going to set time slots to where we have X amount of couples each hour, and then we have to spread that out throughout the weekend. But either way is going to work. I really actually like the idea of the time slots, because I think that's going to give just more one-on-one time with us and everybody, so that we can individually, like, we're not pulled a million directions. So we get to focus with everybody, get to spend some time with them, and share the stories behind all the art.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And I love what you've got back there. You were just telling me about your new circle pieces. What's going on with that, man?
Well, I'd love to tell you about it. This is something that I'm working on. You know, the extra time in the studio, and coming up with new ideas. This is wood. These are wood circular panels that a buddy of mine, he's a furniture builder, and I asked him, hey, can you make some sphere shapes with a really great raw edge? And he did it. And so I started painting on it, and it took what I do normally, the oil, and it took it to the next level where it's staining the wood, and then I'm actually coming back in with sanding and a Dremel to create something that is completely different for me. So I'm not going away from what I normally do, but this is a real fun diversion.
Dude, I just had a crazy idea, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but can you resin or lacquer that and create like the first Quartly coffee table?
So yes, you could do that. You could also just put it under glass and create that finish without having to possibly damage the artwork.
Right. No, and that's why I was like, oh, I don't know. It's an original piece of art, but I bet there might be.
Oh yeah.
I can see that evolving. That's really cool.
That is pretty cool. I hadn't even thought of that, buddy.
Oh.
Am I paying you for that, or is that free advice?
That's why I'm recording this, so I can keep track of all the ideas. Hey, one for Phil.
You're gonna get all that money out of your camera equipment.
Gotta pay it back.
Oh no. So that's cool. So I think I'll have a couple of those at the show, which will be cool to see.
I want them. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And then the raw wood where I've sanded back, that I come in with a soft wax finish, so it keeps the wood looking natural, and then all of the rest of the oil is spot varnished. So it's going to have just a phenomenal finished look.
Yes. So far, the Hush Hush VIP VIP is if we can do our pub crawl, and that will actually be Friday, and that is for a select few. So those invitations will be sent out. It's going to be very limited, and I believe we're looking at 2 venues that will do drinks at one, and then we'll do drinks and food at the second. And then we'll come back to the gallery for a private kind of interaction too. That's going to have one of our signature bartenders there who does craft cocktails. So that's Friday night. This is not, it's kind of the pre-show. And then again, Saturday, probably the VIP, if that's not broken up into time slots. And then Sunday, Monday, regular show, fly out on Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah.
And then,
wow, that sounds like fun.
If you get in on time, I'm going to not mention any names right now because they might see this beforehand. But if you get on time on Thursday, we could potentially surprise someone with a golf idea that you and I talked about before.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys open for golf? I know we've had a couple of courses open in California here.
Yeah, no, I busted out my DVDs. There's now a golf net in the studio.
Nice.
It's all for this event that we're trying to surprise someone with because I'm like, they're gonna cream me.
Oh my gosh.
And you, I don't know. You sound like you're pretty good. So.
No. I mean, I was on the golf team in high school, but
I'm not that good. I was just on the golf team.
Well, dude, that was like 50 years ago.
Right.
But the cool thing was a number of years back, I got a call from the director of Callaway creative team. And
you shared some of this with me. This is awesome.
Yeah, so he goes, hey, with the CEO likes a handful of artists in Laguna Beach, and you're one of them. He's going to have 2 painters and 2 photographers, and there's going to be a contest for the cover of the report, of the yearly economic report. What's it called? Whatever the
cool golf people evaluation of the year.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, so we came up with the concepts of the paintings, and we went down and presented it. And the CEO decided the last minute to take it in a different direction towards like gears, just a real sort of mechanical vision, which was totally different than what I had planned. I had called this the final round, and it was this beautiful sunset over the course and the ocean in the background, the Callaway clubs up against the doorway. It was a cool idea, but they decided to go a different direction, and but they said, we love your work, and I think he said something like you were one of the nicer artists that he had met. So they sent me through a whole fitting, and I still have the clubs. They're great. I mean, it was, I'm a total fan of Callaway golf. So
I did not make the golf team, and I did not get that awesome deal. That's awesome, man. I'm just going to throw it out there. Anyone wants a black and white painting of a golf course?
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
For a set of Callaways. That's awesome.
My clubs are getting a little shabby, so I could use a whole new round.
That's so cool.
I wanted to talk about, we had mentioned quickly before about the possibility of taking a scene that is important to both of us individually and painting with the same palette in mind, the same color palette in mind, painting our versions of that scene. What do you think about doing that?
No, I love it. What Steve's starting to talk about, and that's why I want to capture this, is we were having a really good debate because to both of us, our faith means a lot. And there's always been the question in my mind, and I think every artist, we need to pursue it in whatever we're inspired to do in the moment. And it's like, do you be a Christian painter or a painter who's Christian? And there's no right or wrong to that. The thing that I've been really inspired with is like your piece you did on Easter. I love that, man. That was awesome. And so that's actually inspiring me to next year have something that I'm doing at that time. And that's why I never want to say like, hey, we should portray ourselves this way or that, because you inspired me with that painting. If you guys haven't seen it, we'll flash it up. I love it.
we're gonna have the originals gone, but we're gonna do a limited edition of it, and if we can rally in time for the show, we'll have it there.
And what's been put on my heart, and I was sharing with you, is how, when I've prayed about it, me going out and being in nature is me getting out of my head, getting away from my distractions, and being fully focused on God in a sense. And that's where I feel that connection, and that's why I paint what I paint. Do we have that video of where I snuck away to on this last Sunday? So this was me getting out with the wifey and just experiencing a moment like this. Yeah. And that's it. That to me says it all. That's creation. That's the beauty. That's the gifts that we've been given. And
that's incredible.
So now, coming back, here's a piece I started to create, and this is my testimony. This is, here, I'm some guy that didn't go to school for art, sat down, and a year or two later, this started pouring out of me. That's my story. That's my message of how I want to be that painter that shares that, because personally, and I've had this conversation with other artists that we're trying to figure out, it's like, man, I don't want to be that billboard guy. I got my own mistakes. I'm still making mistakes on a regular basis, and
I'm in.
Yeah, but at the same time, I love your purity and your boldness of running with that inspiration and putting it out there. And again, that inspired me. So I think the rules for this show is paint what you're inspired to in the moment. And what we've come up with so far is, here's a scene that I started that was inspired by that moment. And that's what Steve started to talk about, is that here's our idea. All right, I started creating this. Steve, what's your interpretation of the exact same scene? And that's my challenge to him, although he came up with the idea. And
I think it was already set in motion. And that looks, I know that that's a specific place near you, and that's a place that's close to your heart and faiths, but that is exactly our beach down in Laguna, about 15 minutes away from my house. Cool. So I think we can paint both coasts and celebrate, what that scene means to us.
Very cool. So, and that's what is on our list right now. So here's this piece and Steve interpreting it. And then the next challenge is going to be, I'm asking Steve, hey man, what do you want me to create? So he's going to pick something out, and I'm going to try to interpret that how I would. And then for the VIP or the pub crawl, I think, are we agreed upon like the charcoal mixed media sort of pieces, or what are you thinking? The question, guys, is we're going to 2 different locations, and we want to do something like unique that we present at each one. And we're debating, like, do we unveil those there? Do we create those over the next few weeks, and you guys get to watch those be created and then they unveil there? Or is it something that we're doing together while we're there? We did 2 collaborations last time he was here. And that's something I'm really excited about. We're going to share those with you right now. And also, the first limited editions, some of them have already been sold, but we had the idea that we'd actually, if you pre-order, we'll hand embellish your piece at the show, is one of the ideas that we came up with this morning. I love that. I think that's really cool.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm still on the fence about what we're doing at the pub crawl, because I think that there's just so many options. I think that we could paint something fairly quickly from that night, but I don't know. I mean, I'm on the fence about it.
So let's do this. You guys write into the comments what you want to see.
I would love to celebrate the collectors in some way when we're out there. And I just don't know how that is. So I think it's great to put it out there for them to let us know what they want to see from us. And then we'll put it out there as a surprise. Maybe we do another video where we announce what we're doing.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think this is what I'm sharing or want to share is the build up to this show. Everyone sees the final project. I want to share the conversations. I want to share the brainstorms, the inspirations, the creation process. So we got to have a paint night and jam out. And you create whatever you're working on. I'll create this, and we'll share that part of the process too.
Perfect. I love it.
Cool. I think this was awesome. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. I just had a thought. I was just remembering about the golf. You know, a couple years back, I was invited out by John Dyer, and he was president of Cox Enterprises at the time. And he invited me out to his lake house to do a commission. And involved in that was some time on the lake. We were going to go play golf at the Kiwi Vineyard Golf Course, I think was the name. And I was the first one up on the tee, and I was so nervous. I swung, and the ball went literally straight away from me towards John Dyer. He had to jump out of the way before it knocked him, before it killed him. And the gallery owner texts me right away. He says, "Rule number 1, don't try to take out the host on the golf course." But fortunately, I was able to put together a nice painting for him, and I think he forgave me. But
I think we're both really trying to set our standards low for this golf surprise outing is what we're doing right now.
Oh yeah.
Well
totally.
played. Well played.
Yeah, good.
You know we're going to get creamed in this thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We should team up.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, cool. What else do we need to talk about, or does that cover it?
Are you shooting for this exact same photo? Do you want me to send that to you, or did you just feel like it was inspired by like another location and you just want to paint your own?
No. I think we should use the exact same photo because that flipped is a spot that I've been to many, many times and painted. So I think it's a win-win.
I love that. Yeah. Because, the greatest thing we get to share is our different perspectives of the world, through a different person's eyes and that. And so to see the exact same spot and then interpreted by another artist, I love that. That's really cool.
Dude, you know what we could do too is number 1 of 75 or whatever we do in the edition, the number 1 would come with the opposite. So if you buy both of them, you get another original small sketch that we created prior to the painting.
So if you get the original, maybe you get your clay of the other one.
Oh, that's even better.
It's a show.
Yeah.
So
do you have original sketches that you include with your pieces, the originals? Or do you sell those?
I don't sketch.
Because I'm starting to sell my original sketches.
No, I think that you should.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. Those are works of art right there. And I just don't sketch. I go straight to paint on the canvas. But so do you. I've watched.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you'll do steady sketches? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. I'm trying to. I started getting back into sketching on the iPad and pulling imagery in and sizing it and kind of messing with the proportions and things like that. But then I thought, it's even though that's so great to use the technology, I'm missing that organic original sketch And so I've gotten back to that. I think there's a value in that. I think that's a huge value for you too, because, at some point we're going to be gone, and you're going to want a whole stack. You're going to want Faith to have a whole stack of those sketches to sell.
So, you're sharing artists' retirement plans is what you're doing. That's our 401k.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Sketches.
Sketches.
No, but it's funny that you mentioned that, because I literally, I'm debating on, with all this equipment, to start putting some courses together and make them really short, really sweet, really easy, and very, very affordable. Like 20-minute courses, $10 or something like that, or do a subscription base. So I went out and I bought one of the fancy $200 videos of, it's 18 hours long, and he was going off on sketches. And I get it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think it's like music. I think it's like just perspective. Like, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to create in that sense. And I think that the approach creates some of the style at the same time too. I see the value in what you learn in doing those things, but maybe it's just my personality. I'm like, cool, I want to get to the paint. Let's go. All right.
Yeah, totally.
Because I got 10 other ideas. This is one of maybe 100 shots that I took that day, and there's 10 others that are gorgeous, that a totally different perspective, that I love to paint. And so I'm going, hurry up, brush. I want to get on the next painting,
That's cool.
That's just me.
Well, I want to talk to you more about your approach to the class thing, because I've already started recording a couple different classes. But, there is a learning curve to when you're doing a class online. What's the viewer seeing? Are they feeling connected enough to what you're doing on the video in order to feel inspired to get into it themselves?
I think the best thing that we could do right now is ask these guys directly, guys, what do you want to see? Because I think what do you like, what don't you like in videos out there? I think the information is going to be very similar, and I think we need to give away as much as we can, and so that's kind of the structure I'm creating right now. Paint Night tonight is basically the show, which we're going to try to do 3 times a week. And then and I'm going to touch on everything in that. But then if you want to dive deeper or see that same, like maybe a class is on painting waves, or maybe it's on painting clouds or painting rocks. But in the show, I'll do one because that's what we have time to do. There might be 3 other styles or angles that we could dive deeper into. And that's where I want to create that content and hand that out. And I think this format is great for all artists. Like, the way that you approach painting rocks or clouds or a wave is going to be totally different than I do. Even if, in one of mine, I was painting boats, and so I grabbed a palette knife. But my approach compared to your...
Stay away. Hey.
I'm going to look like a 5th grader playing with that palette knife compared to you. You're going to go, boat. And I'm like, so I'm challenging myself with this knife right here. But
listen, I can sell you a class on how I do it.
Yes.
Anytime.
Yes. But here's the other part of that. I want people to see that we are challenging ourselves and growing. I don't think artists realize how many mistakes we're making as we approach that. Because I'm always sharing, as much as I have somewhat, there's different moods to my approach. Sometimes I'll take a very logical approach. and I will value it out, premix colors, all that. Sometimes I sit down to the canvas and I'm cranking some tunes and it's running with whatever I feel in that moment. And whatever stands out on my palette versus that scene, I'm laying down. And I've mentioned you on the show a few times because, you know, I was actually doing something looser and I was like, Quartly, you know, one of the greatest things he told me is get out of your head. Just run with it. And I love that because that's when you get in the zone. And I don't think enough artists will point out their mistakes as they're going. And the thing is not to share that we don't make mistakes, it's to share that we do, and how do we get out of those?
Yeah.
And you don't worry about it. You do this, you learn, okay, cool, that's what the paint's doing right now, that's what the brush is doing, that's what I have loaded on here. And I've made that mistake 100 times, but I'm already 10 steps ahead, so I'm not even worried about that. And this is how I come back to that and I reapproach it and go. I don't see that being taught, and that's what I'm hoping and trying to encourage other artists to share is that part of the thought process, because that's the feedback that I've gotten that people I think really enjoy.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Cool. I want a subscription to your... If you guest on mine, I'll guest on your show. I'm just saying, if you want to.
That sounds great.
All right.
Let's do it.
Game on.
All right,
wait, no, don't put that. Wait, screw.
What was that?
Nothing? I don't know what that was.
It was backwards.
It was bad. Oh, yeah. That's... All right, we're still working the glitches out of our system. I don't know what's going on there. Did you see our tribute?
That was amazing.
That is amazing.
All right.
Dude, awesome. Thank you.
Dude, that was great.
All right. So game on, everybody. We want your feedback, and the show is on. We will see you then.
I'm ready. Let's put it together.
Thank you, brother. See ya.
See ya.